You held your first virtual career summit over the weekend, focused solely on women and underrepresented minorities. How did it go?
It couldn't have gone better. We are so excited. The students and the companies both have been contacting us throughout the weekend and into today, telling us what a great experience it was. I think these are uncharted waters. So everyone, we've certainly had our fingers crossed and hoped it would go well. But really, we were so pleased with the outcome.
Now, you're focused on getting college graduates placed at jobs across the country. Some colleges aren't even in session, aren't going back in the fall. Recruiters can't meet people in person like they do. What are the trends that you're seeing in terms of how difficult it is to make that transition right now from school to real world job?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And particularly the class of 2021, our rising seniors are incredibly anxious. There's just been so much uncertainty for all of us since COVID started, but particularly for this college population. They haven't been back on campus. The summer, a lot of the women who had internships for the summer, they were canceled. We had women who, if it wasn't canceled, they were doing virtual internships. So a lot of uncertainty and new experiences for really women between the ages of 18 and 22. So especially as schools are going back into session, there's a lot of anxiety, and we really wanted to kick this off before the students even return to campus.
So where are the jobs? Who's hiring and for what?
Yeah, great question. I would say that big tech is doing really well. The financial services industry, banks are hiring a lot of students. I think the areas that aren't doing as well are more in the travel and entertainment industry. We have a lot of mid-sized companies that are experiencing great growth. So we're trying to educate our students about those industries that they should focus on and maybe make a priority in their search.
Now, we hear from a lot of employers, well, finding diverse candidates is hard, and my answer is always, well, try harder. Some of your sponsors are Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity. What are they telling you about trends in their efforts to find diverse candidates at this time when sort of the traditional routes are not available?
Yeah, I think they're starting to rely on organizations like ours because particularly for diverse candidates, there are so few diverse candidates at each individual college. What we've been able to do is create a national community and actually now an international community of students all over the country who are interested in coming together and sharing like experiences.
How do you think that COVID will impact diversity in hiring? I wonder if it could make things even more difficult than they already are, and you could have some employers who are focused on other things, like getting through a pandemic, put diversity in the back seat.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that COVID certainly has an impact. I also think what's going on in the world today, of what we've seen with George Floyd and a movement around Black Lives Matters, a lot of the companies are really doubling down and making commitments to want to make sure that they are hiring more diverse candidates, but they are hard to find. And one of the things about our model is that we're a bit disruptive. Usually the recruiting process is based on on-campus events as well as conferences. And I think this is a really great opportunity to try and be more efficient and get to these students in national networks like ours, as opposed to having to go on an individual school basis to find this talent.
So talk to us about how your model works and how you're going to be doing more of these virtual summits in the hopes of making those connections that might be more difficult to make at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've really been a virtual company for the past 3.5 years. Our model is really a direct-to-student model. So we work with students and on a 12-month basis, and they have a great experience in working with us. And it's really been through their networks that we've been able to expand. So the growth that we have experienced since COVID actually has been incredible. We've added over 1,500 students to our organization in the last 3 to 4 months because a lot of these students aren't getting the type of support that they usually have on campus.
Now, we know that women and minorities are underrepresented across corporate America, underrepresented in Silicon Valley. What are the numbers, the latest numbers that you have, and how much are they actually improving? In some cases, as I understand it, they're getting worse.
They are getting worse. And what we focus on at the college level is really an area that I'm not sure everyone really understands is a huge area for dropout rates. So a lot of women are starting out in computer science and engineering in their introductory courses, but just 1 or 2 classes in, they're making a decision that this isn't for them. And the national graduation rate of women in tech for computer science and engineering has been less than 18% for the past 15 years. So this is a problem that's been going on for a very long time. And not only do we want to try and address that issue, but we want to make sure that once women get into technology, that they're retained once they get there as well.
Preaching to the choir here, but it's not the right thing to do or just the right thing to do. It's also the smart thing to do. Why does it matter to have women and underrepresented minorities in technology in greater numbers?
That's a really great point. So it's really important to do because diverse work teams have been proven to manufacture better products, to come up with better services, to be really reflective of the overall population. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to do is make sure that we can work with companies to help them find diverse workers so that we can really produce products and services that are ideal.